Now in this particular question, which is slightly tricky, we have been given a metal M and we have been told that it is bivalent in nature. Apart from that, we need to calculate the formula for this metal in the form of its sulfate and the same metal in the form of its phosphate. So I need you all to give me the formulas for the metallic sulfate and the metallic phosphate respectively. Now we will tackle this part by part. Listen to this carefully. The first information that we need to decode over here. First of all, it's a metal, so it has to be electropositive. It is going to be a cation. It is going to become a positively charged ion, right? So the charge on the metal is obviously going to be positive. Great. How much positive? That is there in the question. It is a bivalent metal, which means the valency of that particular metal is going to become 2 plus. Great. The same thing we need to do for sulfate and phosphate as well. Let's begin. Number 1, M is a bivalent metal. Following are the steps to find out the chemical formula of its compounds formed with the radical sulfate and phosphate respectively. Now the compounds of the metal M will have the radical sulfate. How do we do it? To write down the symbols of the radicals first, always basic to the left and acidic to the right. Who is the metal over here? M. Who is the other radical? Sulfate, SO4. Now the next one is tricky. Think. It's bivalent, right, the metal, so it is going to become 2 plus and sulfate is SO4 with a charge of 2 minus. Let's write that particular thing down. Step 2. To write down the valency below the respective radicals, so we have M and SO4, M with a charge of 2 plus, SO4 with a charge of 2 minus. But again, 2 and 2, both of them can be divided further, both of them can be reduced by the common factor 2. When you do that, the new charges over here are going to become 1 and 1. The only thing left over here is also going to be the crisscross method, the cross multiplication method. Now have a look. Step 3. To cross multiply as shown by the arrows with respect to the number of radicals. We have M and SO4, 1 and 1 each. The 1 of sulfate goes to M, the 1 of M goes to sulfate. And when that happens, I can put them up together as MSO4. Why do I say so? Because 1 is the only number that you write or don't write, doesn't make any difference whatsoever. So the final formula is going to become MSO4. That is the formula for the metallic sulfate. Now, we need to do exactly the same with respect to the phosphate radical. So what do? We put down the radical formulas first. M to the left and phosphate, PO4 to the right, acidic to the left and basic to the right. Now in this particular case, what is always going to happen? You have M and PO4, great. Then you need to write down the valencies for the respective radical. M is bivalent, so 2. And we have M with a charge of 2 plus and phosphate PO4 with a charge of 3 minus. Are they going to reduce these numbers? No, not at all. They are not going to. It's already in the simplest ratio possible. Okay. Step 3. To cross multiply as shown by the arrows with respect to the number of radicals. M to the left, PO4 to the right, 2 to the left, PO4 to the right. Now think. The 3 of PO4 will go to M. The 2 of M will go to PO4. And when that happens, I am going to get M3 PO4 the whole twice, because I need that number 2 to be valid for the entire thing. So to write down the chemical formula of the compound, I am going to have M3 PO4 the whole twice.